Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm JB,
I'm Nada.
and today we're going to be talking about The Last of Us episode 5 and 6. Now, we weren't able to do 5 in its own video, so we're going to be talking about both in this video.
Yeah.
So, let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
it.
it. Okay, before we get into our discussion about episodes 5 and 6 of The Last of Us, stop right now. Have you subscribed to our channel?
You should.
You should. Did you like this video?
Make sure you do.
All right. And did you hit the bell?
Definitely do that.
Do all of those things, okay? Because we want you to know every single time we upload a video, okay? Now we have to apologize. Life gets hectic and busy, and it was Saturday, and we had so much stuff going on and to do, and we're like, wait, a new episode is coming out on Sunday.
Right.
So I'm like, let's just do 5 and 6 together. And I guess it works out because the next episode
is a finale.
I'm mad. I'm mad.
7 episodes in one season is wild. They could have gave us 8. They could have gave us 8.
Okay, we'll keep talking about where it ends and like all of that later, but let's get into episode 5, right? Episode 5 opens up and it's what's the woman's name? So the two wolf leaders. It's Isaac. What's the lady's name?
I forgot.
You know her name?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. But she's interrogating somebody because they're like, hey, I heard you kill some of your men. Yada yada. Come to find out, one, it's the Leon was the boy's name. I remember his name. Was the lady's son. And she had to trap them down there because we now have the introduction of
spores.
Yes.
So the infection is airborne, which is huge.
It is.
That would mean the end of everybody. So in this way, right? Yeah. In this way, they sealed off the basement floors where all the spores were, so that it couldn't contaminate anywhere else. They bolted the door and everything. They also said some stuff that I think are hinting to things in the future. In her quote, the mother of Leon, she said something about, I had them go investigate the basement floor level 1, and they found nothing. There was nothing down there, not even rats. And that really hit me in a way. I'm like, I think they're hinting to something that I know is coming, but it hasn't come yet. Because I've heard of one other time when they were talking about something like hidden either in a subway or in a basement, and they were like, there's nothing down there, not even the rats. They said in the exact same way. And again, I'm like, they're hinting to what I think they're hinting to. But I won't spoil that. But it means something.
All right, we'll keep paying attention for. I mean, we only have one more episode to go, so I hope that they, bring whatever it is that you were thinking to fruition.
Oh no, we won't see it. We'll see it in season 3. Or possibly the fact that the news came out today that season 4 was announced.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Okay. Yeah. So that's happening. Ellie and Dina heard over the radio that Abby is at the hospital. So their objective this episode is to get to the hospital so they can get Abby.
Right.
And you see them trying, figure out all these positions. You get another reference to Joel and the guitar again, because Ellie finds all of these guitars,
and I feel like the game plan is pretty much this. Dina finds a route that they can take. They're on their way. They sneak at night. They cut through this building that the WLF aren't patrolling or going into. They don't really know why, but they go in there anyway. So as they go in there, they're like, oh, it's just an empty building, but they find out that there are stalkers in there.
Yes.
And they run across one, and
they think that's it.
And Ellie definitely was sort of panicked at the one, because the one definitely bit her previously, early in the season.
No, I felt like she thought she had a good gauge
You think so?
I thought she was like,
I feel
look,
like she was
it's
a
just
little
that
worried.
one. No, because she was like, because we're just going to flank him. He's going to try to flank us,
right.
but we're just going to flank him.
You're right.
So I felt like when she saw it was one, it was fine. And then another one popped up. And then another one.
It went
then
from
it was like
3 to 10.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they panicked.
Yeah. Game plan was completely out the window.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a little caged area that Dina ran to because, of course, Ellie's the dad. And and she's like, I need to protect you. Mm-hmm. So Dina gets in there, but they're going crazy. They breaking the cage and like you think she's about to get bit. She had a knife that fell, gun. They was out. They were trying to be quiet, but that was gone at that point.
Yeah.
And who comes to save the day?
So it was a silhouette, and I think for a moment, I don't know, she thought it was like Joel. Obviously, it's not Joel, but I don't know. Maybe she thought it was, but it was Jesse. Mm-hmm. He showed up. He got
the real Pappy showed up.
That's wild. Jesse shows up. He gets him out of the situation, and there's kind of this like weird dynamic with Ellie and Jesse.
Yeah. Okay, so when we were watching it, I think you thought his attitude was about them and like their relationship. And I'm like, no, because he didn't even know. He didn't know Dina was pregnant. He didn't even know that they were together in a throuple or whatever they are. He didn't even know. I think he was just mad that they left and now him and apparently Tommy had to come and save them.
And I think
that's why he was upset.
Mm.
So they run out to a certain point, then they go into the park, which looks like a wooded area now, really. And wolves are like, no, we're not going up in there.
Because the park is run by the Seraphites. Mm-hmm. So they kind of hide. They see the Seraphites interrogate a wolf, and they see the ritual where they cut them open. They get spotted. Yeah, that was pretty gross. They get spotted, and they get a arrow in Dina's leg. Jesse gets her to safety, but there's a moment when Ellie realizes she can make it to the hospital. She was supposed to
go back and meet them at the theater, but no, she out for blood. Yeah. So she goes to the hospital.
She gets to the hospital. She crawls in through like a little entrance, and she kind of figures out where Nora is, because that's our whole goal is finding Nora. So she gets inside. She confronts Nora, and she has the drop on her, but Nora uses like a psychological tactic.
I was mad at that.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid.
She's slowly lowering the weapon, and like she was appealing to her calmer side, and then Nora flipped it and was like, and he got everything he deserved. And I love listening to the sound of him scream. I
was like, dang, Joel.
I know.
So that was tough. They end up like chasing each other in the hospital that they're in. Mm-hmm. Nora flees, but she runs to one of the basement levels that was closed off.
Yeah, like she fell like down the elevator shaft and went down.
And then eventually she's cornered, but then Ellie's like, hey, I'm immune, so you're the one that's gonna die.
Ellie like, I'm breathing just fine. You coughing, you choking, not me. And so Nora's like, do you know what he did? He murdered all of them. You were our only chance, because she realized Ellie is immune. Mm-hmm. She's like, you were everybody's only chance, and he killed the one person that can make a cure, and yada, yada, yada. And at the very end, Ellie is like, I knew. And the question comes up,
when did she find out?
When did Ellie find out? So I feel like we suspected, since we saw the preview, since we knew this was coming out, we suspected that Ellie was mad at Joel because he lied to her about there being other infected and like that whole situation in Salt Lake City. So I think we always thought that was why she was upset. I thought she knew.
You thought that she knew, though, at the beginning of the season, because when we first start season 2,
she's upset.
They are very distant.
Yeah,
they're not talking, they're not close, they're not living in the same house. So you thought, okay, this is why.
From the jump, gotcha. I thought that's what it was.
Gotcha.
The entire time. And so when we listen to like the end of it when we hear like the directors and all of them, and they're like, so he poses this question. I'm like, was it a question? Because I always just assumed that's why she was upset.
And I feel like they kind of spoiled it in a few trailers when they kept showing the "you swore" quote.
Yes.
Had they not shown that,
then
I may have thought
I could have thought it was
that their
else.
indifference to each other may have stemmed from something else.
Mm-hmm.
But when you showed that, I was like, okay, this is probably where it comes from.
Yeah. I think that maybe I'll wait until we get to episode 6 to say this, but they showed something at the beginning with the one soldier and her son that I think is continued to be mirrored throughout is, do you risk something for everybody for one person?
It's the question of sacrifice.
Yes. So this one person that I love, I can't think of in psychology, it's the name of this type of question.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Where it's like, it's somebody versus like 5 or so ever many other people. And it's like, do you save the one person and let the 5 die? Or, that kind of question. If you know what that is, I'm gonna think of it. Yeah, and I think they're trying to show this throughout this whole season, really, because a cure. So now you have it airborne. And if we had a cure,
it would no longer be a problem.
Yeah.
But to sacrifice Ellie, Joel couldn't do that. He couldn't sacrifice one person to save, all of humanity. And that's
getting
massive.
Biblical.
Yeah, that's massive. But seeing the trauma of what Joel went through, it's hard because as a audience member, I kind of understand he lost his daughter. So like he really kind of implanted that on Ellie, I think. And then, he's like, I'm not losing another daughter. I think in that way.
And I definitely think that that's how he feels. However, I might be surprised by this. I mean, listen, I'm Team Joel forever, okay? You're not going to make me hate him. You're not going to make me mad at him. I'm going to love him, okay? Pedro, love you, all right? But that was very selfish. Well, let's get into 6, and then we'll keep talking about it.
It was selfish of him to kill the doctor.
Literally risked all of humanity and just started slaughtering people.
Yeah, he did.
So I think that was, in the grand scheme of things, it was wrong. I do not agree with Joel dying though. So don't say that I think that was cool because it was.
And I feel like that's kind of a hard line to walk because at the same time we follow the story through Joel.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. I didn't want him to die.
When he went into that hospital and he killed everyone getting to Ellie, there was something about that.
In the moment, you was kind of rooting for it. Oh, that's bad.
It is bad. Maybe that says something about people like us watching, but like I was rooting.
Well,
I was like,
because then you have
get to your
put
daughter,
yourself in that like literal position.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I had a kid, would I be willing to sacrifice my kid for everybody? Because
it's like, in one light, what he did was courageous. He was like, I'm not losing my daughter, and I will cut down anybody who gets in my way. And that's very understanding. We watched it,
I'm sure I was like, yeah, Joel, get him, Joel.
Yeah. But now we see it from a different perspective, and now, like you said, you reflect differently. Like that was selfish.
Dang.
All of humanity. That could have been saved.
One who would lay down his life for a friend. You don't even know that. Did you know it's a Bible verse? Okay, good job. Yeah. Oh, there was something else. So when Ellie is killing Nora, you see this other side come out of Ellie when she grabbed that pole over there, just trying to figure out where Abby was. So she was like, she had to get Abby.
And the show was trying to like kind of show the descent of her character, like seeing her go down a path that maybe we've never seen her before. Really get that like cold, like I will do whatever, sort of like Joel.
Yeah, it's definitely showing that. So you do that. End of the episode, it ends with a flash and it's Joel smiling at her. And that's going to lead us into episode 6.
And I think that was it was an interesting juxtaposition of where she is now from where she was.
Yeah,
because
that's good.
They showed her right after. They showed her standing over Nora with the red light on her face, evil in her eyes, and then quick cut back to Joel. Sunlight. It was just
butterflies, and birds chirping.
I was like, okay.
Hey, Dad. I don't know what she said, but yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna lead us into episode 6.
Yeah.
So then we get episode 6, and it actually opens up with a flashback of Joel as a kid. Was that in the game at all? Like, do you get to see little Joel and Tommy?
Joel. Nope. Not that I can remember. I don't think there was any showing of them as children or like his background. So that was something adapted for the show.
Okay. Well, then I get why they were trying to do that. So in that scene, we get a reference to the fact that Joel and Tommy were abused by their dad. And there's a moment when Tommy thinks he's going to get in trouble. Joel taking up for somebody, standing up for somebody. And he stands in the gap like for his brother. And it was an interesting moment because the dad kind of took a chance to say, like, listen, I know I'm whooping y'all. Like, I know I'm beating y'all, but I don't beat you as bad as my daddy beat me. And of course it's like, well, thanks. Much appreciated.
Right.
But at the same time, I think that compared to something that Joel is going to say to Ellie at the end of this episode was very important. So I guess maybe they put that in there to like reflect.
I think they also use this to highlight sort of where Joel's protective instincts like came from. They were very rooted like in the very beginning. Even when he was a kid, you know, he was always looking to protect his brother, how he protects Ellie now, like in the future, you know. So yeah, I think that was a cool way to like illustrate that.
Yeah. So we get to see some of that, and then from then on, the flashbacks are of Ellie's birthday from her 15th birthday up to her 19th birthday. And I mean, the entire sequence is just literally illustrating them going from being father and daughter and how much he loves Ellie.
Yeah.
He has poured his everything into doing so much for her, and you can see the detail and how he cares about her and he knows her. So you think about him getting the cakes and finding the museum and
really trying to understand her. You know, I think that at the beginning when she was, you know, the first couple birthdays, they were sort of on the same page. He was trying to do things to really make her feel seen and make her feel special. And I think just like any teenagers, they grow up and then, you know, they really kind of don't want to be around you. They don't really want to be like, you know, you're kind of, you look different to her as they get older.
It's like, it's a season of, I mean, as a teenager, like you're trying to find yourself out, but then your parent is also realizing that you're not the same like little kid. So in one of the birthdays, you know, they inside the spaceship and they just having the time of their lives, and she just so happy. She can't believe that he did all of this stuff. And then it's another birthday and he walk in, she got the girls.
She's with a girl. She is also smoking and
getting a tattoo. He said, you decided to do all the teenage things in one day. One fell swoop. She said, listen, I'm going up, okay?
Yeah.
For my birthday. But even in that interaction, because he's like, what? So now you're experimenting with girls? And she's like, it's not an experiment. And, you know, you get that whole thing because, again, she's trying to figure herself out and he's grappling with the fact that, well, my little girl isn't a little girl anymore.
Yeah.
So you get to see that. The other thing that you see throughout kind of each birthday is Ellie has questions about what took place. in Salt Lake City. Like, so there's one moment where they're going through like forests and stuff to get to the museum, and she sees a whole bunch of fireflies, and she stops and she's looking off in the distance at them because she's trying to figure out, like,
was he telling the truth when he told me that? You know, last season when he said, like, I swear to you, what I'm telling you is the truth. And, you know, she questions that. And I think it was cool when, as we get further into the episode, there is a part with Eugene.
Yeah. So at this point, she's moved out of the house. She's in the garage, and he's kind of letting her, you know. So he fixes the garage up for her. So she really wants to go on patrol. And at the beginning of that was the 19th birthday. So they skipped 18. 19th birthday, she's sitting on the bed. She has prepared to finally, like, I'm gonna ask him. Oh, let me take a step back.
She's like practicing the questions or whatever.
Hold up. When she got the tattoo, we got to see her, like, there's this whole thing about moths, but she's really like searching for what her purpose is. Like, she's immune. She knows that, like, she could do something. You know, she clearly knows she could do something. So then you fast forward to 19, and she got a whole list of questions for Joel. You know, did the Raiders really come? Was it really a team? Are there other immune
people? Yeah.
Like, all of this. And he shows up, and he's going to take her on patrol. And she's been trying to get out there. You know, Ellie want to be where the action is. So she's been trying to get out there. Finally goes. And we hear something in the distance. We see a horse come dragging a body. Whose body was that?
I'm not sure who that was.
They don't never come back and talk about that body. And you see Eugene.
So we finally get sort of the curtain pulled back on all the setup all the way from episode 1 with Catherine O'Hara, the therapist, and about Eugene. Gail, there you go. And you know, he's bit, so you know they have to kill him, obviously. In his last moments, Ellie does a test with him to see if he's about to turn or if he has time. And it looks like he has some time left, like maybe, 30 minutes, an hour before he's fully turned.
He want to say goodbye to his wife.
He did.
And Joel is like, listen, we have rules. I can't allow you to do that. And Ellie's like, no, he has time. You should take him. So Joel tells her, I promise you, different verbiage, but still, I promise you, we're coming. So Ellie go get the horse.
Yeah, we're going to take him back. And he gave her a look that she felt was like the same look that he gave her when he promised her that everything that he said was the truth. And I think that she already had her suspicions. And I think that this was her moment to say, okay, is he really lying to me, or was he really telling the truth? This was almost like like a second chance to see, like, can I confirm these suspicions, or can I just let them go? And he was telling the truth. So she believes him. She goes to get the horses, bring them back. So he starts walking Eugene. Obviously, they start walking in the wrong direction. And he leads them to like a little clearing.
Beautiful little clearing.
Yeah.
And Eugene is like, I don't want to see the mountains.
Yeah, I want to see my wife.
Take me to my wife.
Exactly.
Like, no, I want to see her. I want to hear what she gonna say to comfort me, because I'm terrified. He said, I'm terrified. He said he didn't expect the cordyceps to make him feel cold. And it's like, let that man see his wife.
Yeah.
But no. You see Joel telling him you can picture her wherever you are. And he closed his eyes and opened them and say he saw her. And then it went silent. But then you saw the birds like fly away.
Now that was an interesting scene.
It was.
To take the sound away and to give we have the inference that we killed them because the birds flew away. I think that was a really cool artistic choice.
It was very cool. So then Ellie comes back, and I don't know. Part of me feels like, Joel, if you wanted this to run smoothly, you would have just been like, listen, Ellie, like, I'm sorry. But he didn't have to tell Ellie, like, all right, this is the lie that we're going to tell Gail. Because I think that really, that made it more suspicious because she like, no, you really a liar because you promised me this. Now you about to lie to Gail. You just lying to everybody, and you can do it so quick. You can kill people and lie about it, and I'm pretty sure that was like packing it on.
Yeah, and she was probably brooding on that way back.
Yeah, because you see when they riding, like she's crying, tear falling from her eye, and get there, and Joel's like, he
was basically
he wanted to
Gail
stay away from you and keep you safe, but he wanted me to tell you he loved you, and I hope you know he was brave. All of that was a lie. That man was scared.
So in that moment, Gail did believe him, though.
She did,
and she did like hug him and understood, and
that this is what he had to do.
Right, and so I think at that moment, like, killing him didn't seem as bad, and she understood it. She was like not okay with it, but understood.
She understood.
And then right there, like seeing him lie to her face, Ellie, it came up. Yeah, it bubbled up inside her. She's like, "Look, Gail, that's not what happened. He lied. He was afraid. He had time. He wanted to come back and see you. Joel just lied to you about everything."
And Joel shot him in the head.
Oof. I said, okay.
And I'm like, baby, that's personal. Gail, that didn't have nothing to do with you at all. At all. That was personal.
It was.
And Joel looked like, I know she lied.
The truth, right?
And Gail slaps him in the face and walks off. And Ellie looks him in the eyes and she's like, you swore. And like, that wasn't what he said back, about Eugene.
That's what he said
about
her situation.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So it's clear for us now, this for her is that confirmation internally that he did lie about it. So up until that point, they had been, they were drifting apart. But they had been cool, you know?
They've been cool.
So from there, fast forwards to New Year's Eve. And at that point, they're completely distant. And that's what we see at the beginning of the season. You see the kiss and all of that stuff from his perspective. You see him get embarrassed again when she's like, I don't need your help.
Yeah. But we do get an extra scene that we didn't get in the beginning, where he's on the porch, and she comes up and they do have a conversation. And at this moment, she asks him straight up, like, I will give you one more chance to tell me the truth. Did this happen? Did this happen? Did you kill those people? Could a cure have been made from me? And it's crazy because it's almost showing me how good of an actor Pedro Pascal is.
Because
I see him break. I see him break, and he don't want to. He don't want to say it. He don't want to say it, but he
looked
knows
like he wanted to lie again.
He did.
Oh, Pedro.
And like you see him visibly break, and I was like, I could feel the pull he was having on both ends. The want to know that he loves her, and say like, I want to protect her from the truth, but knowing that she now needs the truth, and but not wanting to tell her, to be honest, because she'll hate him for it. I could see it in his face.
You could feel it. This episode, it pulled on your heartstrings.
It definitely did.
It did. Lots of emotion.
Yeah.
But he tells her the truth.
Yeah.
And she's like, you took
my
purpose from me.
Yeah.
I'm here. I exist. I'm the only one. I exist because I can help everybody, and you took that from me. And he's like, if it meant you were gonna die, I couldn't let them do it.
And he references a quote that his dad said to him. He's just like, hey, if you ever become a parent, you'll know the kind of love that I have for you, and know that I could not lose you. And know that
I hope you do a little bit better.
I hope you do a little bit better as a parent.
That's what his dad told him. And they have a really good moment where, first she's like, I don't know if I can forgive you for this. But then she turns around and says,
but I would
really like to try. So now we know that they, in some form, reconciled a little bit, because that would have been the last conversation she had with Joel.
Yeah, before he died.
So, man, this was a lot.
It was.
It was.
It was a heavy flashback episode.
Mm-hmm.
But now we just got one left.
One left. So they have to wrap up everything. Jesse don't even know he a pappy yet.
He doesn't know.
They have to wrap everything up. Now she got to go figure out where Abby is and find her and get her. And meanwhile, they're in the middle of a war between the Seraphites and the Wolves. And one episode, I told him it better be an hour and 47 minutes long. Hour and 47 minutes to credits roll.
It's not. It's definitely not. Especially since they're going to stretch out the second game into. First, I thought it was 2 seasons.
So
now
yeah, okay, because you told me, but you said, didn't you just say it got approved for 3 or 4?
No, so season 3 is already good. Like it's
greenlit. They already were doing that, and then I got approved for 4
today. Yeah.
So then, well, I didn't know that. I thought that game 2 was gonna be episode 2. Mm-hmm. So no, we're not gonna get any conclusions.
Mm-hmm. No. And like if they continue doing this, if they do, let's say 6-7 episodes in season 3, or 6 or 7 in season 4, then technically game 2 would be what 7 plus 6 plus 6. It could be low-key 20 episodes, which I wish they would just do season 2.
Are they just gonna come up with fake stuff?
No. They're just stretching out season 2.
They're stretching out game 2.
I'm sorry, game 2 into
over
3
seasons.
That's what I think. Yeah.
That's bogus.
Yeah, it is. Because then we have to wait. You're saying for the entire story from beginning to end. That would be like roughly 5-6 years.
We got to be over halfway through the game.
We might be coming up about half.
Now I'm very annoyed. I didn't know that.
Well, that was just announced today. Like,
ain't no other games?
No, it's only 2. They were going to work on Last of Us Part 3, but that game is either maybe in early development or not developed at all.
They need to just put it out as a movie first.
As a movie first. Well, they would follow congruently, just like the games. They do the game if they did it.
I'm just saying, surprise us all. And season 3 is gonna be game 3, and then they're gonna come out with the game, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Because no, there's no way they're stretching 2. Anyway, yeah. So we just got episode 7 left. Yeah. I can't believe it.
And it's over.
All right, let us know how y'all feeling, what you thought about both episodes.
Definitely.
Any predictions? I mean, it's kind of hard because I feel like a lot of the people who watch the show played the game. Mm-hmm. So y'all kind of already know.
Well, like, I'm wondering where they're going to...
where the cutoff is.
The cutoff is going to be basically some kind of checkpoint. Like a we're going to wrap up at this point. So we tied up everything for this section with a nice bow. And then we're going to start season 3, following
Season 3 is going to start where the Wolves and the Seraphites really begin to clash and fight. It has to. I don't even know if that's a thing, but because I don't remember the game. But I just feel like that's the only climax that you can end on at this point. I don't want to ask you that. Okay. Let us know what you think. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.
Thank y'all. See you later.